What's up, guys? This is Alex from Mindful Attraction. And today we're going to talk about 10 things that lowers a guy's self-esteem. 11 or 12, who knows, right? But let's talk about that, and I'm going to give you guys my take on what are the things. Now, the first things first is not having a purpose in life. If you as a dude don't have a purpose, don't have something that you're working towards, like a business, a career, and you feel like shit, that will lower your self-esteem. Not having any motivation to achieve a goal will lower your self-esteem. Having goals and achieving them and earning financial success as a guy will lower your self-esteem. And also, not having no power in your job, having the lowest position in your job will lower your self-esteem. Why? Because if you don't feel like you're contributing to your group, let's just say you're at your job and you're the lowest of the lowest at your job. You're like the guy who gets the coffee. Your self-esteem will naturally lower. So if you've occupied lower positions where you're never the manager, you're never the supervisor, you're never anything like that, where you're never the best artist in your school, the best musician in your school through practice, if you don't have that, that will lower your self-esteem because your serotonin level will lower. So as a guy, you have to work towards climbing the ladder at your job, at your corporation, at your school, and seeing what they value. If they value art, then be the best artist. If they value the best dancer, become the best dancer. Their people's feedback will naturally raise your self-esteem. But when you don't have that, it means that you're on the downward trend. So have a purpose in life and try to achieve and master something in your life that will and build. Always try to build up. In other words, always if you're starting as an office clerk, always try to be the office manager or something like that. That has been proven to lift the self-esteem of men. The next one. By the way, we're doing 50% off my course, Dark Game. You can see it in the description down below for the coupon code. All right, purchase it now while I'm closing the channel. All right, so the next one is toxic relationships. Anytime you're with somebody that doesn't love you the same way you love them, that doesn't invest the same way that you invest, that isn't as considerate as you are, or even going back to somebody that cheated on you, or going back to somebody that broke up with you, or you going back to somebody who treated you like shit, any of that kind of stuff will lower it. And because they took you back by acting humble, by going back to them, begging their, and just humbling yourself in front of them, it reinforces that habit with dopamine. Like sometimes your brain is, sometimes toxic people reinforce those needy habits. Anytime you're with a man or woman that doesn't give you what you want and you're always feeling hungry, it's almost like they give you half of the plate. It's almost like you're never fully satisfied. Right? You always want something more, and they never give it to you. Anytime you're in that type of relationship, your self-esteem will lower. Or even being the side dude or the side chick to somebody lowers your self-esteem. It's just that simple. Never settle for less. If you settle for less, you're gonna take the emotional self-esteem hit. It's like when people talk to me about, I'm with someone, they don't love me back. How do I get them back? And I told them, have you pulled away? And they say, yeah. And what did they do? And they say they didn't chase. And what happened? I chased them afterwards. So you're in a situation where the person doesn't chase back when you leave, and yet you want to tell me, how do I make them chase? The price to pay, I told them, look, you could be with them, but the price of being with them is your self-esteem, or even staying with people that cheated. When you stay with somebody that cheated, your self-esteem suffers. You can forgive them, but in the bottom of your heart, your self-esteem has suffered, because now you're more suspicious. Now you demand that they let you see that they show you their text. You want more access to them, and the reason why is because your self-esteem has lowered. It's like people don't understand. You can't just be with somebody for free. You're paying a price, and that price is your self-esteem, people. The next one is having social media. I mean, studies have shown this, especially if you're a woman and even a man. Having social media naturally lowers your self-esteem. There's no if as or something about it, right? It just lowers your self-esteem. Seeing people live their lives, or even lying to you about the types of lives that they live, and then you comparing yourself, will lower your self-esteem. You have to understand, the ego is it's pretty much powered by separation and by comparisons and differences. When you compare yourself, what you have, the more you compare yourself, the lower your self-esteem will be. And so so it's kind of like, it's pretty obvious, right? Social media. Now the next one is right next to it, online dating. In online dating, people will never treat you how they treat you in real life. People will treat you as a hologram version of a human, where they think of you as an abstract object. In other words, they're more willing to flake, they're more willing to cancel, they're more willing to pull away, they're more willing to treat you like shit. And if you're only doing online dating, you could begin to develop an identity that you are that thing that people perceive in their minds, that non-human part of yourself, where people see you as just an object, that's just a profile. And unfortunately, when people treat you that way, you begin to treat yourself as such, right? You begin to feel like shit. It's just online dating. Unfortunately, I'm just going to be very honest. If you're not really attractive, online dating would treat you like shit, ladies and gentlemen. And me, I'm an average looking guy. I'm slightly above average, if that helps, right? And I still get that. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? So everyone gets it online. Everyone. So it's like, I always recommend meeting people in real life. But if you can, then I get it. The next one is toxic friends and family. Toxic friends and family will for the most part is what starts the toxic families. What starts the lowering of your self-esteem. Where if your parents have low self-esteem and they don't know how to cope with it, what they'll do is that they'll project their insecurities upon you. For example, if you have a mom and she was fat her whole life, or let's just say she's super skinny in shape, and so she was in shape because her parents always told her to lose weight and to be good looking and stuff like that, and she felt that pressure, she's gonna transfer that negative self-image of herself, of always not being enough, onto the daughters and onto the son, right? So it's kind of like, it's the toxicity of your family members are more easily transferred than the good. That's just the unfortunate, right? Now, we can't choose our family members, so you got to take the hit. When it comes to your friends, though, that's where you attract certain types of people depending on your self-esteem. Negative friends who always flake on you, who you never feel like they're not considerate. You feel like they don't support you. They always talk about themselves. They never ask you what's wrong. They're only there to use you. That will lower your self-esteem, especially if you hang around people who, well, I'll go with the next one. Hanging around people who don't like you back. There's toxic people who are evil, who are jealous, envious, and who will attack you, who will spread rumors about you. But the next type is just people who don't like you, and they're dealing with you because they're being polite. The thing is that you're going to unconsciously sense that. And how do you sense that? Because you have a great need to validate. You have a great need to get their attention, to be liked. You feel that above average type of need to be liked. And this was my problem growing up, right? Why? Because me, when I was a kid, I didn't have a dad, right? I didn't have a dad. And so I gravitated towards male figures. Unfortunately, the male figures in my life, which were my cousins, they were too busy to pay attention to me. They didn't like me too much. And so because of that, I gravitated towards them even more. It's almost like I almost like saying, oh my God, they don't like me. How do I make them like me? And that became a pattern where if somebody doesn't like me, I will chase after them. Why? Because it was, in my mind, it's the same configuration that I had of not having a father figure and being rejected by potential father figures. So I had to tamp down that sensation. And anytime I felt the need to validate someone, to get them to like me, I had to see that almost like as a sign that says, hey, Alexis, you're in that state again, pull away, right? And a lot of people are in that situation where they can't make friends, and so they cling on to people who don't like them, and your self-esteem lowers. Or even friends who aren't really your friends, they're just your friends because you're good looking, or because you have some type of status that they want from you, you want something from them, or vice versa. That lowers your self-esteem. If you're not treated like a human, that would lower your self-esteem. That's why women don't like being objectified, because it lowers your self-esteem. They'd feel it. The next one is not spending time with yourself. When you can't spend time with yourself, where you can't be alone, where you can't be present, where you can't just sit down and be anxious and be okay with it. That's why meditation is so important. Why? Notice when you meditate, after a while, when you begin to meditate, let's just say 30 minutes in, you feel this anxiety. You want to get up. You don't want to meditate. You feel like, oh my God, I want to get up. My thoughts are racing. I feel anxious. You know, that happens when you don't want to meditate. If you just sit down and deal with that anxiety, what you're really doing is just training yourself to deal so to tolerate anxiety. You're training yourself to sit down and not flinch at the anxiety. You're training yourself to cope with anxiety by just looking at it. That's why it's important to, when you feel like standing up from meditating, go an extra minute. That's when you start getting the growth. You know, when in weightlifting, the only time you start growing is not the first lift or the second lift, but right when you're about to lose it, right when you're above 60% of your limit. Let's just say you're doing 10 reps and you're on the sixth one. The seventh one is when your muscles start growing because you're getting all the lactose, whatever you call that thing in your muscles, right? It's the same thing with meditating. You're practicing being alone with yourself, being alone with your emotions, one-on-one, uno a uno, mano y mano. You are in that dark chamber with yourself. And if you can't handle that, your self-esteem, you will see symptoms of that through more of these symptoms. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's important to meditate. Because when you're able to sit down and be alone with that anxiety, you're mimicking, almost like practicing daily life where you're anxious. Somebody made you anxious. Somebody hurt your feelings, and you naturally have a reaction to that. And maybe you start trying to get people's validation, or even you post something on social media to feel good about yourself. But because you trained to, when you were meditating, you wanted to get up and you learn how to handle that anxiety. This anxiety that you feel now, you're going to be able to handle it. That's why meditation builds up that emotional immune system. The next one is taking things personally. This happens to me too, where I take things personally, right? And this is my meditation practice. My meditation practice is talking and not taking things personally. In other words, when I'm around people, I try not to talk because I'm a talker. That's my gift. And the problem with that is that it's also a hindrance, right? So when I'm around people, I try to be the quietest person in the room, right? Which naturally means that if I would have talked at 100 and my goal is to talk at a 0, I'll naturally talk at a 60% of what I will actually talk. It's not realistic that I'm gonna be quiet, but by setting such a high standard, I eventually find a good middle ground, and it becomes a meditation practice for me. You know, and I've gotten better at it over the years, but a lot of the times, anyways, as I was saying, my fault. So yeah, taking things personally, not thinking that you're the center of the universe. When you take things personally, it's like you feel like you have a reason to believe that it's personal, but I can promise you, more likely than not, it's not personal. And most likely, those thoughts you're having about what people think about you are not there. You just developed low self-esteem. And the more you take things personal, the more you believe it is personal, the lower your self-esteem will be. It's just that simple. That's why it's always good to talk to someone. Have a therapist. Write things down. If you don't have a therapist, write things down. You need to see your thoughts in a physical way, or somebody telling you or reverting back to you your thoughts in order for you to have a more realistic point of view. It's because you're in an echo chamber in your mind. You legit are in an echo chamber. What the hell? That was like, I just saw a flash in the sun. I mean, in the outside, like an unnatural flash. What the hell? Hopefully it's not a nuclear bomb. The fuck? That was the weirdest thing ever, man. I swear to God, that was weird. Like just a random flash. Like, it happened again. All right. That's weird. All of a sudden. All right, next one. Not having hobbies. When you feel bad about yourself, naturally you start thinking of why you're somebody who has self-esteem. You start thinking about, okay, I have a good kid, or I'm good at art, I'm good at this, or I'm good at that, I'm good at basketball. You could find a way to justify why you should feel good about yourself. But if you don't have any hobbies, all you could do is either take drugs or eat to self-soothe, or something that's negative. Having hobbies is a healthy way to to let out all of those intense emotions, to let it out, right? Because if you could either do drugs, you could start fights with your family, you could go online and start debating or listening to debates, anything to let out the aggression. That's not a healthy way to do it. You want a way to let out the aggression through a positive way, through activities, boxing, basketball, football, soccer, anything that you could use your body to let go of that tense up energy. You want to do that, because if you don't let go of that tense up energy, it kind of corrodes you inside, and it kind of like it's like an infection when that will eat away at you, and that will start eating away at your healthy organs. It's like it slowly will seep in. If you have all that pent up energy, it'll start attacking you because you're not letting it go, right? So that's what you want to do. Have hobbies so that you can feel good about yourself. And the last one is youth envy. As you get older, you're gonna develop youth envy. As you get older, you're gonna start getting more jealous of younger people. That as you age, that's what happens. You'll see good-looking guys, and you're like, oh, I wish I was dumb. You see a good-looking girl, you're like, oh, I wish I had those good looks. You gotta start and the way to overcome youth envy is to just become comfortable with your mortality. Now, how do you do that? There's so many ways to do that, to be honest with you. But the way that I would tell, one of the easiest way is to start seeing older people as younger people. In your mind, imagine how they looked when they were young. And then when you see older people, imagine how they will look when they're older. Because when we see young people, we imagine that they're always going to be young. We don't have that we don't have those apertures expanded. The apertures of time are not expanded when we feel we have low self-esteem. Expand the apertures of life and see that one day everyone will die. That neutralizes the youth envy by just imagining that people eventually will die. Not wishing their death, motherfucker, okay? Calm the hell down, put the knife down, but imagining them being old and imagining old people being young. When you are able to internalize the movement of time, because what that really is just fear of death, to be honest with you. It's just fear of death. You feel alone. But when you can see that everyone is in it, you're going to notice that you're going to join. You're going to have a sensation where it's almost like the brotherhood of death, where everyone is in it. It actually makes you feel better. It's like during the pandemic. If you were the only one in quarantine, you feel like shit. But because you knew that other people were in it, you didn't feel that bad. Join the brotherhood of death by imagining everyone's death, understanding that one day you will die. And when you do that, youth envy lowers and you feel so much more comfortable with your age. And there's nothing more attractive than an older person who's comfortable with their age. Attractive doesn't mean that people are going to want to bang you. Attractive means that you have a good vibe. You don't come across as a bitter person. You seem comfortable with your age. That's the best compliment you could ever get as you get older in life. And I met people like that. They had a young energy about them. It's truly beautiful. I met one guy in Florence, and he was just like that. His name was Chet, something like that. He was British, but he was so comfortable with his age, so comfortable. We would ask him to hang out. It was a bunch of young people. He was like 67. And he was like, oh, no, that's for young people. He would never be urged to hang out with us. But because of that energy, because of that laid back energy where he was just so comfortable with it, we wanted to hang out with him more. Right? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If any of you guys need one-on-one coaching, go to mindfulattraction.org to get one-on-one coaching. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And also, what are other things that causes youth envy? All right? Let me know in the description down below. And by the way, I'll let you guys know tomorrow about this part, okay? All right, guys. So I want you guys to check out my online course called Dark Game. That's right, people. Dark Game. And this course is pretty much, I review to you the secret tactics, the secret techniques to create attraction in almost any woman, right? But not just attraction to the point that makes her want to see you all the time, where she's the one initiating all the contact, right? Now just imagine
to be able to keep all of the girls in your life that you lost because of your stupidity. Imagine, and I had stupidity too. Imagine being able to keep them. Imagine being able to have 5, 6 women available to you, wanting to see you. Imagine being able to create intense relationships where they're all doing all the work. People, that kind of stuff does exist, people. Now, I'm not gonna promise you that you're gonna bang like 40, 50 women. I'm gonna promise you that you're gonna be able to keep the women you have, that you get with. I can promise you that keeping them will increase with this course. But let me keep showing you something. This course is pretty huge, people. It's a huge course. This course has over 50 videos. 50 videos, right? And some of them you could get for free. If you just sign up, you get free videos, right? But in these videos, let me show you guys the course, right?
All right, guys.
Shit. That's me right there, right? In this video, I pretty much teach you guys how to find your purpose. Right? All this is how to find your purpose, discovering your purpose, right? I teach you guys then about female psychology, all of the principles about female psychology you guys need to understand. I then teach you guys the mindset, the proper mindset that you guys need to deal with women. After that, I teach you guys 21 videos on how to game. I mean, it's pretty much unbelievable, man. I gotta make this available, right? But it's unbelievable how many. I pretty much put everything: outer game, social circuit game, strategies, threesomes, foursomes, everything, right? And on top of that, I give you guys a few bonuses: how to overcome approach anxiety, why you can't take actions, a Dickens pattern to change your mentality, how to go from open to transitions, right? 81-minute long, people. This is like, I don't know how long this is, but this is hours, and I mean hours worth of content. And you get a 30-day money back guarantee. I mean, you without questions asked. All for $99, people. This could be around a few thousands, to be honest with you, right? But you guys get it for $99, right? All you gotta do is just go over here, purchase the course, and you'll get access to it. And if you don't like it, you could just message me and get your money back, people. Look, man, don't be hard-headed, people. Don't be hard-headed. This is the course that you guys need, right? It gives you guys everything. I cover everything. I could promise you, man, you're not gonna get a more in-depth course on how to attract women and keep them more than this. All right. Anyways, people, check it out. 30-day money back guarantee. There is no risk, and you can get the free course. You can get the free trial. The free trial are these videos that you get for free, right? You guys could just sign up. You could watch all of these videos for free, right? And you don't have to pay. All right. Anyways, I'll see you guys inside. I want to see you guys inside because, again, people, you can't lose nothing. There's a 30-day money back